Chapter 4. The Journey That Changed the World. The Road to Mecca ****. This chapter tells the story of a journey that reshaped history. When Mansa Musa set out on his pilgrimage to Mecca, he did not travel as a man seeking attention, but as a leader guided by faith, humility, and responsibility. What followed was one of the most impactful journeys ever recorded, one that altered economies, challenged perceptions, and placed Africa at the center of the world's attention. In this chapter, you will discover how one journey across the Sahara shook global markets. Why Mansa Musa's generosity changed the value of gold. How humility defined his leadership. Even at the height of power. How Africa became recognized as a land of knowledge, order, and wisdom. This is not just a historical event. It is a lesson about power, discipline, and the responsibility of influence. The decision was made in silence. Mansa Musa did not announce it with trumpets or celebrations. He did not seek admiration. He felt a calling, deep, spiritual, unavoidable. The pilgrimage to Mecca was not just a religious duty. For Mansa Musa, it was a test of humility, faith, and responsibility. A journey that would expose the soul of a king to the judgment of the world. Journey begins. Preparations took months. Caravans were organized with precision. Thousands of people would travel with him: soldiers, scholars, servants, traders, and guides. Camels were loaded not only with food and water, but with gold. So much gold that it glittered like captured sunlight. But Mansa Musa knew something others did not yet understand. This journey was not about showing wealth. It was about showing values. Before leaving, he gathered his closest advisors. An empire does not pause because its king travels, he said calmly. Justice must continue. Education must continue. The people must not feel abandoned. He left behind clear instructions, systems of governance, and trusted leaders. A true king prepares his nation, even for his absence. Across the Sahara. The desert stretched endlessly. Sand met sky in perfect silence. Days burned. Nights froze. Yet the caravan moved with discipline and purpose. Villages stopped breathing when they saw them coming, not because of fear, but because of awe. They had never seen such order, such calm, such dignity. Mansa Musa rode quietly, often listening more than speaking. When villagers approached him, he welcomed them, not as subjects, but as humans. He gave generously, but wisely. He reminded them, gold can help today, but knowledge will protect you tomorrow. Those words stayed behind long after the caravan moved on. The gold that shook economies. In cities like Cairo, something unprecedented happened. Gold flooded the markets. Mansa Musa gave freely to the poor, to scholars, to traders, to leaders. Not to boast, not to dominate, but generosity on that scale had consequences. The value of gold dropped. Markets shifted. Economies trembled. Historians would later write that one man changed global economies simply by passing through. Yet Mansa Musa remained unchanged. When advisors warned him, he listened. When he realized the imbalance, he adjusted. He even borrowed gold later to restore stability. That is the difference between wealth and wisdom. King among scholars. In Cairo and beyond, Mansa Musa sought conversation, not praise. He sat with scholars, debated theology, astronomy, law, and governance. He asked questions like a student, not a ruler. People were stunned. They expected arrogance. They met humility. One scholar later wrote, "He was the richest man I had ever seen, yet the most disciplined in spirit." Mansa Musa invited many scholars to return with him to Mali. He envisioned something greater than pilgrimage. He envisioned a knowledge revolution, arrival in Mecca. When he finally reached Mecca, Mansa Musa removed all signs of royalty. No crown, No throne, no gold displayed, only faith. Standing among thousands of pilgrims, equal before God, he felt clarity. Power fades. Titles disappear. Only values remain. He prayed not for glory, but for wisdom. Not for expansion, but for justice. Not for remembrance, but for impact. The world takes notice news traveled faster than caravans. Europe heard of him. The Middle East studied him. Maps were redrawn with Mali at the center. For the first time, Africa was not described as distant or unknown. Africa was respected. And Mansa Musa understood the responsibility of that attention. Representation mattered. Conduct mattered. Legacy mattered. The return home, when he returned to Mali, he did not bring arrogance. He brought architects, scholars, books, ideas. Mosques rose with elegance. Libraries expanded. Timbuktu transformed into a beacon of global learning. The journey had ended, but its impact had just begun. The lesson of Chapter 4. Mansa Musa proved something rare. You can hold immense power and still walk humbly. You can possess unmatched wealth and still serve others. You can change the world without losing your soul.